Right? First of all, I want to get everybody's name. I always do this. Give everybody a chance to tell who they are, and so we'll go around the room. What's your name, young lady?
Tyler.
What's your name?
Keegan.
Your name?
Jemiah. Jasmine. Imani. Alicia.
Nick. Marquise. Tyler. Jalen. Gary.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me tell you why this is important. When I said we was finna do Black History, first of all, I didn't see a bunch of excitement. And let me tell you why that bothers me. And it should bother you. Because everybody in here is black. Right? All of us in here have a history. All of us in here have something that's important. If you meet a Jewish person out on the streets, and you see the Jewish person, all of us in here got a name. And I asked him, what's your name? He's going to say it's Rosenberg. If I say, Mr. Rosenberg, what type of name is it? He'll say it's a Jewish, maybe Swede name or whatever. He's going to know the whole history of what his name is about. He's going to tell you, it came from my grandfather. My grandfather was blah, 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 blah. He's going to know something about it. You ask the Japanese man that. You ask the Chinese man that. You ask the Latino man that. Everybody but us, black people. You know why? Because slavery. During slavery, we didn't get to learn about our history. That was taken from us. And we learned to speak another language, which is English. We are not English people. And we were taught that our history don't even matter. That your history ain't even important who you are. And that's the biggest lie ever told to us today. You know why? Because you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. You don't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. We as a people really don't know where we're going because we don't know exactly who we were. So when I say, who are you? If I was to ask the average person, who are you? We would get all type of answers, but most of them would not really be who we are. And I'm telling you this because this is so important. Right now, when we look at the things we do, who would name a successful person? Who you think is a successful person, brother? I mean, who is somebody you would look at as a successful person?
Oh.
Who? Bill Gates. Name a successful person. Who? Oprah. Name a successful person. It could be somebody you already know. Just who you think is successful. Whether it's P. Diddy, 50 Cent, whoever. Who? Obama. Name a successful person. Just anybody. It can be your father if that's what you think. Go ahead. Martin Luther King. That's good. Name a successful person, brother. Think about it. Why are you talking? Huh?
Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks. Name a successful person. Young lady.
My grandma.
That's cool. Name a successful person. Tupac. Name a successful person.
My mama.
Name a successful person.
Chief.
Chief. Name a successful person. That's who she thinks successful. Name a successful person.
My mama.
All right. Who?
My mama.
Name a successful person.
My great grandma.
Name a successful person.
Wendy Williams.
Name a successful person.
Ken.
Name a successful person. Name a successful person. And all of those people have done right, done good things within the bounds of the United States. But in the closest I probably heard that was probably a real major successful person probably was Barack Obama. Who said Obama?
Tupac.
Now, when I talk about success, when we talk about success, right, we talking about not only do we mean financial success, we mean intellectual success, spiritual success, as well as moral success. That means they on top of their morals, they on top of they really intelligent and smart, as well as they have good things. Can I tell you about a person? And I'm going to tell you about a person here. Go ahead, can you?
Can I tell you my answer?
Who?
Can I tell you my answer?
Who's your answer?
Reverend Al Sharpton.
Reverend Al Sharpton. He's all right.
I like him.
I want to tell you about a great intellectual person. His name was Imhotep. And when y'all get a chance, look this up. Have anybody ever heard who Imhotep is? Raise your hand if you ever heard that name before. Nobody in this room. Who?
Kayla.
I don't know who he is, but I've heard of him.
Let me tell you who Imhotep was. He was a black man. And the reason why you notice we don't strive, if you don't know who you are, you don't know what to strive for. He was a black man, just like you. Look a lot like this brother right here. A black man. He was in Africa. He was a multi-genius. He was a multi-genius. When I mean a multi-genius, that means he mastered geometry, mathematics, science, medicine. All of this was created by Imhotep. He was a master of it. He was a black man in Africa. You don't read about him. They don't even teach you about him in high school, do you?
Nope.
Because the thing about it, most of the people you learned about are people who were before after slavery. These was after slavery. Oh, he was a progressive black man that rose from the conditions. They don't tell you that your forefathers were one time the rulers of the earth, like King Menes. King Menes was a multi-genius. He was the master of what is called Egyptian Ma'at, African Ma'at. African Ma'at is a principle system of balances that we came up with. People in this society, they try to duplicate it and steal it in what is called Masonic lodges. But the mystery system, the Egyptian mystery system, the true system of human development, to where you became on top of your game intellectually, morally, and spiritually. You was a dominant human being. When they be showing super beings, they stole that from us in Africa. That's who we were in Egypt. We mastered this, being a superior being. And so things like this. Here's a picture of the pyramids. I gave all this to take home. I want y'all to look at the pyramids. Who can tell me something about the pyramids in here? Huh?
Khufu's pyramid is the biggest pyramid in Africa or Egypt, as they say.
Where?
Khufu's pyramid.
Who built the pyramids?
Slaves.
Who? What slaves built the pyramid? Who told you slaves built the pyramid?
I don't know.
Egypt.
Right. Now, when they tell you some people from Israel, bro, I'm going to say this. I don't want to get into nobody's religious doctrine. I'm not arguing. I'm saying investigate Egyptian history. The Egyptians were great writers of history. They documented all their history on paper. There's no history of nobody being there building the pyramids. You know who built the pyramids? Scientists. You're right, in a sense. Scientists. You know, African scientists. Because the pyramids are so mathematically perfect. Do you know with all the science and technology today, they can't figure out how to build one? Do you know the bricks in the pyramids are so powerful that they don't need air conditioner. They keep the temperature at 72 degrees all year round, whether it's cold or hot. This is how smart your forefathers were. They are mathematically precise when they do measurements. You done that. How many of y'all know we created a lot of the great math? How many of y'all heard of what is called algebra? Who created algebra?
White people.
No. It comes from a black man. Algebra. His name was Al-Jabbar.
Oh.
He created algebra.
Okay.
The system of mathematics.
Nowadays they.
Huh? You didn't know that. Do you know you use mathematics is in your nature? Every time you turn around, you use mathematics. But most of you in school, y'all probably struggle with math. You know why you struggle with math in school?
Because it's hard.
Nah, you know why you struggle to? Because they teaching it to you the wrong way.
Yep.
You probably do math every day and don't even. How many basketball players we got here? Do you use math when you play basketball? Yes, you do.
I do.
What is it? What's force times distance? You measure in your mind force. How much force do I got to put behind this ball to close the distance to that goal?
Mm-hmm.
Every time you take a shot, you measure that, don't you? You look at it, and you do it naturally, without even thinking. How many rappers we got in here?
Yo.
Do you know every time you rhyme, you use? Do you know your rhymes on the beat, and they have to match with the beat of the song, otherwise it's off? Do you know you have to mathematically calculate that in your mind, and you do it naturally without even thinking? That's why some people, they not really good at math. They can't find the beat. You know what I mean? They not good at math. And I'm telling you this. This is what we don't know. This is our history. It was stolen from us. But you will never try to rise up to be a powerful being if you think all I can be is a 50 cent. That's the highest I'm going to reach for. If you don't know about Imhotep, King Menes, he ruled the whole known earth. You never read about him. He was a black man. For all you women, learn about Queen Nzinga. Y'all heard about Sojourner Truth, ain't y'all? Y'all heard about Harriet Tubman fought against slavery. Why they don't tell y'all about Queen Nzinga? Queen Nzinga, when they came into Africa, she was an African queen. And her brothers had sold out. They was letting people drag slaves off. She knew that was wrong. So she stood up and killed her brothers. And then began to organize an army to kill all the people who was taking slaves. This was a strong black woman. You never learn about her in school, do you?
No.
They don't teach you that because that's the type of black woman. They don't want you to think as a black woman that you are a ruler. As a black man, that you are a ruler. Do you know one of the most powerful things in the world, brother? Because I hate to hear music bashing women, is a black woman. Let me tell you, black women are powerful. They are, your woman is, the man ain't going nowhere without the woman, and the woman ain't going nowhere without a man. But a woman is powerful. Do you know that's why a man and a woman working together, that's divine. When y'all work together, y'all in a partnership. Do you know your woman can see things because of the way she is created that you can't always see? I'm talking about spiritually, mentally, and intellectually. A woman can tell you one time, don't walk out there, it's going to be some trouble tonight. And you don't listen. How many mamas have told us that?
Everybody.
And she got a feeling, intuition. And you don't even know it and you don't listen. And you look up, you call her and collect, like, man, you told me, mama, not to go out the house. Baby, you told me not to go out the house. But she has a spiritual intuitive nature. It's something within her, a divine power that she's been given when she's in tune with herself, that she can tell you things. When you come up with ideas, she can help you go further or she can tear you down. If she's a good woman, she'll help you go further. But at the same time, sisters, you know the black man got something in you. He can make you a stronger woman. And I'm telling you this, we don't know this. This is a part of our history that we really don't know about. I was talking about the Egyptian mystery system. I want to tell y'all about this. Let me find what I'm looking for, the handout I'm looking for. How many of y'all know they got these schools for the elite, like Harvard, Yale? That's where you go when you are elite, right? Name one major university in the United States. Princeton. All of these schools. Well, all of these schools mostly study Greek philosophers. Socrates and Plato, Aristotle, all of these people, right? That's who they go and study. Do you know who those people learn from? Herodotus, all these. These people came to Egypt, which was the real name of Egypt. I want y'all to remember this word. Was called Kemet, which means the people who they look up to, who they got their divine knowledge from, was African people, your people. But what happened when people invaded Africa, Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar, a part of them establishing power was they were very violent people, that they didn't want us to know our history. So that's why if you see the picture of the Sphinx, they blew the face off the Sphinx. Why? You know why? Because the face looked like him. He got a black dude with a big old nose and big ears. And then they taught you to be ashamed of that big black nose that God gave you, those big ears. I want to tell you about our language. This is how divine we were. Some people call it hieroglyphics. Do you know, and I'm not trying to bash nobody's religion, the oldest scripture predating the Bible goes back 6,000 years. They scientists will tell you this. The oldest scripture is called the Book of Coming Forth, or what European people call the Book of the Dead. It predates any written scripture around. It's called the Book of Coming Forth. They call it the Book of the Dead. It's before the Bible, it's before all of it. And the language they spoke was called Metuneta. Metuneta means the language of God. It was so perfect, it was so divine, so mathematically, so beautiful. It was called the language of God himself. That was what your forefathers spoke. Metuneta. Look that word up. When y'all can Google that. If you got a pen, you want to write it down. Metuneter. Metuneta. These are things you know, because when you, and the reason why I want you all to think like that, because you want to strive to be higher. See, they'll tell you, oh, just go to school and get you a degree and you'll be a good guy. No, you don't go to school just to get a degree. You go to become a master. I want every one of y'all, if you plan whatever you plan to do, don't walk in it with the idea I'm going to learn this. Go in with the idea that I'm going to master this. You got it, bro? I see you hear me, don't you? You got it? Go in with the idea that I'm going to master this. Y'all feel me? Don't never go in being mediocre. Mediocre is not who we are. See, they teach us that's the norm of the day. So they try to say, oh, we laid back and shiftless and all this. Black people don't do nothing. That's a myth, man. If you study our history, we were a person who mastered excellence. Let excellence be your norm. If you're going to do something, say, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be excellent. And that's what the Egyptian mastery system was about. It was about mastering self. Getting your mind to be as best it can be. Getting your body to be in shape. Getting your, all this to work together. Your spirit, becoming at the height of your spirit. Becoming one with your creator, whoever it may be. That's what we learned. We had to master this in Africa. I want to talk about the Egyptian mystery system. This is what we was talking about. That's what they call it. We didn't call it the Egyptian mystery. But it was a system of learning. You had to go through degrees. And y'all may have seen some of these movies where people were finna die, but they had to know this riddle. The riddle was called the riddle of the Sphinx, right? The riddle of the Sphinx. This was in Africa. And before you could go to certain levels of knowledge, you had to master, before you could even enter into certain pyramids where they would have a certain learning. You had to master different levels of knowledge. You went up in degrees. And that's where they stole a lot of that. The Masons and the Shriners and all the degrees and stuff. That all the elite that run the world are members of these organizations. See, they really stole your knowledge, took your knowledge, and built up a civilization. You want one? Yes, ma'am. They took your civilization. But we talking about the Egyptian mystery system. Let me tell you this. That was a riddle. In the riddle, everything we did was done in allegorical language. A lot of people don't even know what allegorical language is. But do we got any rappers? Where the rappers at? What's the metaphor?
It's a comparison, not using like our ass.
Right. It's something that when you say it, it has multi-meanings. A lot of people don't know that's how the Bibles and the scriptures work. See, we take it as face value. You know, and I'm not trying to get in religion like Jesus walked on water, but that's really something really deep, walking on water. And I can teach all of you how to do it. How to walk on water. But not physical water, but how to walk on spiritual water. You know what I mean? It's a metaphysical thing. And we were allegorical. In Egypt, we had allegorical meanings and sayings. How many of y'all read the Bible? I'm not talking religion. I'm just giving you an example about Moses. Who know about Moses? What did Moses have in the Bible? What did he have?
Rod.
We're going to talk about that right there, rod. And we're not talking about religion. We're talking about Egyptian mystery system. In Egypt, there was a riddle to get into the pyramids. The riddle was, what creature, and I want you to see if somebody can figure it out, starts off on 4 legs, gets up, walks on 2 legs, and before it dies, it's on 3 legs. What creature?
A man.
Yeah.
Explain.
I can explain.
The first he walk as a baby,
Okay.
and as he get older, he walk on 2 legs.
Okay. What's the
Then as
third?
he get older, he walk with a cane.
Right. That's right. You're right. That's right. See, you know that. It's in your nature. But let me tell you that. It means something much different. See? It's an allegorical thing. It has a deep meaning. Which means man in the beginning of his learning, he's in like an animal state. And what are animals on? 4 legs, aren't they? So as babies, all we think about is what we want to eat, what we want to drink. We got to use the bathroom. We use it on ourselves right there. You know what I mean? We in like an animal nature. That's what a dog do. Dog didn't use bathroom. We just use anyway. But as we grow a little bit, we stand up and walk. We walk on 2 legs, right? We begin to walk. And we begin to grow, and we grow a little bit in knowledge. We learn a little bit. Okay, you just don't pee anywhere. You go to the restaurant. You know what I mean? You just don't see some food in the restaurant like the baby just did me the other day at the Chinese restaurant. Just reached on my plate and grabbed it and stuck in his mouth. Ain't even my baby. You know what I mean? But babies think like that. You learn, okay, this not mine. Let me eat. when it's my turn. You grow and develop. But what's the third? Walking on the cane. What does the cane represent? Anybody got an idea? That's exactly what it represents. As you get older, you lean on your wisdom and knowledge. You use your wisdom and knowledge to guide you through life. And you lean on it. When you can't figure stuff out, it becomes your ride. And so you see the wisdom and knowledge is what you use to walk with as you get older. And then with the 3 stages of man. That was an allegorical, see, that had a lot of meaning in it, didn't it? And that's why a lot of times you read stuff about Moses having a ride. I'm not trying to teach religion. A lot of that has a lot more meaning than you know. But you will never know that unless you probably become a 32nd degree Mason and join the lodge and they start teaching that. They don't even want me teaching you this now. You know, if you got somebody in your family that's Mason, you get to tell them about this thing. Like, who taught you that? You can tell them I taught. I'm not scared of them. You tell them Brother Jay taught me. Because that's my job to teach you this. But a lot of things are hidden from you. You know why things are hidden from you, bro? Tell me why knowledge is hidden. What is knowledge? What is knowledge? Now, what is knowledge? Knowledge is what? Knowledge is power. Right? If the lights go off right now in this building, and I'm a skilled electrician, which I do know about electrician, who's going to be in control? Me. Because everybody else going to be in the dark. I ain't going to know what to do, are you? But the knowledge of the person with the knowledge of how to turn the lights back on, all y'all can say, oh, I know what to do. What I do is go down, okay, this, whoop, lights back on. The man who knows things is the one with the power. And the difference between you and the people who rule the world is what you know and what they know. If you ever want to look at the person in charge, a lot of times it's the person who knows the most, that has the knowledge. Knowledge is power. And the biggest thing, let me make this clear. For thousands, hundreds of thousands of years, wars have been fought over power. And the people who want to be powerful make sure that you keep another person unpowerful by denying them certain knowledge. You hear me? Because if I know more than you, I can use what I know against you and make you slaves. You want me to show you a good idea? Show you a good way? Can I? Let's do an experiment. I'm going to do an experiment. This is what you call subliminal suggestion. I'm going to make me a slave. I'm going to make somebody do something without them knowing. Y'all think I can't? Huh? Who wants to be this? Who wants to be the person? You?
Me, Imani.
Imani?
No, mine.
You want to? Okay, we finna do an experiment. I want to ask you something.
Nope, I don't want it.
Just real quick. I just want to answer my question.
I'll do it.
You will do it? Come on, answer my question. Spell spot.
S-P-O-T.
And what do you do when you get to a green light?
Stop.
You don't stop at a green light. But what I did, let me tell you what I did. I implanted a thought in your mind that I knew would make a certain response. You hear me? Mm-hmm. Listen to me. I implanted a thought in your mind that I knew would make a certain response. I made you spell spot first, didn't I? So when I said, what do you do when you get to a green light? What did you say? I programmed you. You hear me? I programmed you how to act. Listen to me. Listen to me, everybody. I programmed her, Ken, or MG. I programmed her how to act, and I got the response I wanted. Many of us are being programmed and we don't even know it. If we look at the way we dress, the things we say, even the language we speak. All of us in here speak English, and we ain't never questioned why English is the only language we know. If I begin to say words like Yehuru Sasa, is that funny? Huh? Jumbo.
We know Jumbo.
Asante Sana.
We know that. We know that too.
Asante Sana.
What that mean?
What does Asante Sana mean?
I know Jumbo mean hello.
That's right.
Sunday Sana is like a, is that a greeting?
That's
or
like a
something,
greeting.
or
Right.
Or thank
But
you.
this is what we understand.
Right.
That's our language.
I know how to do numbers.
That was what you spoke before you got here. Let me ask you this. Hold on. Respect me. I know everybody's enjoying the conversation. Listen. Let me ask you this. How many of you see Mexicans go over in the corner and speak to each other in their own language? How many of you see Africans do it? How many of you see every other race does it except who?
Black.
Us.
African American.
White people go and speak in their own language.
What language?
It's called symbolic language, allegorical language. You don't even know it. They be speaking all over television and code words. You don't even know it. You don't even know it half the time. They on television talking in a whole different language you don't even understand. They got signs and symbols for their language. Right now, if I pull out a dollar bill,
Right here.
right? I'm going to pull out a dollar bill.
What are you just pulling up?
It's a dollar bill, right? They speaking a language you don't understand. What is this right here on the dollar bill? Huh? What is this? Huh? They speaking languages you understand. It's an eagle right here.
I know that.
It's an eagle in here
It's an owl.
that has 16 spears in its hand. The 16 spears represent the 16 original nations, the 16 original colonies of this country, New York, New Jersey. All of this means something. But you don't know. You touch these every day and don't even know what's on here. You look at buildings, you walk past structures every day, and they're speaking language that you don't understand. You know what I mean? Yes.
You know about the 5, 10, 20, 50, $100 bills that people
Photo you make the White House.
I heard. I mean, that's a stretch. But let me say this. I do know this, that everything in this country, that the people who know do things behind our back. We the only people that don't speak in our language. And we have to change that. That starts with you in here. Do you know right now, I don't know who I'm talking to. But one of you in here, remember I told you this, one of you in here is destined for something great. And maybe all of you. I'm not saying this is exclusive. But somebody in here understands what I'm talking about more than the rest probably do. Because one thing I've learned about the power of our ancestors and our energy that I'm teaching you is that me being here today didn't happen on accident. And you being here today didn't happen on accident. That everything happens in a cause and a time. And I'm telling you right now that you are tapped into a more bigger power than you could ever imagine. Do you know our forefathers? They can't figure out how the weight of the stones on the pyramids were built. Do you know our forefathers had the ability to move objects without even touching them? Do you know you only use 10% of your brain? That your brain is a lot more powerful than you could ever imagine? And it's not nothing spooky about it. How many of you have had deja vu before?
Yeah.
Have you ever been somewhere you feel like I've been here before? What if I tell you I can explain it to you scientifically? Huh? I'm finna explain it. You know, the mind has the ability to travel. Einstein, who's the greatest scientist there ever was, right? He had a theory of relativity. How many of y'all know what Einstein's theory of relativity means? That means if anything can move faster than the speed of light, it can move backwards and forwards through time, right? Light moves at 186,000 miles per second. You hear me? Light moves at 186,000 miles per second. And Einstein said if anything, that's where they come up with the theory of time travel. If anything can move that fast, it can move at the, I'm sorry, I lost my thought. Anything moves back and forth through time, it can move at the speed of light, right? Anything moving at speed of light can move back and forth as time. Do you know thought travels 24 billion miles per second? Thought.
You thinking?
Thought. Now, let me tell you this. Do you know the mind, when you resting, when you sleep, it's still working, right? It's still working. It's still moving. It's still taking journeys, sometimes back and forth through time in your life. Do you know that? And so while your mind is taking journeys, you might wake up and say, wow, man. And you might recall pieces of it. Sometimes you think it was a dream. But then you get into this place, you walking down the street or something, and you had the strangest feeling like, I've been here before. And you know I ain't never been here physically in my life, have you? Mm-hmm. That's because you don't know the potential you used to have. We have pictures. Right now, there's tribes in Africa called the Dogon tribe. We have pictures in the pyramids of all the planets on the universe, but no telescope. So they said, how did these people get these pictures in the pyramids? Right now, you got the Dogon tribe over in Africa. Scientists cannot figure out how these people come out the mountains and tell them when the next meteor is going to come, how all the planets move, where they at. They don't know how these black people in Africa do this because they able to travel outside of the body. And you are too, once you get in touch with who you are. And this is not a religious conversation. This is just a power of knowledge. When you begin to develop yourself to a certain level, you develop your intuition. That's what self-mastery was about. I gave y'all the one on self-mastery. That's what we were doing in Africa. We were learning to master this thing called the brain, the mind, and the body. That's excellence. But never settle for mediocre. That's my message for this Black History Month. Mm-hmm. See, black, when you hear somebody saying, I don't like doing math, that's white. That's white stuff. That's a lie. Mm-hmm. Mathematics is black all day. Science is black all day. Do you know doctors? All the doctors take the Hippocratic Oath. Y'all know what the Hippocratic Oath is? Every doctor has to take it. Mm-mm. Do you know it was written by a black, it was wrote by a man called Hippocrates in Egypt, a black man. It was an oath that if they see a person sick, they got to save him and all that. First open heart surgery was done in ancient Africa by black people. All of this was who we were. We studied the Bible. We understood the mind. We understood the brain. That's why every time you see all these movies, I want y'all to think about all these movies y'all see. Tomb Raiders. They always trying to go back into Africa. What's the one? Mummy. And dig up something in the pyramid. Even in the one movie, what's the movie with, they made Imhotep a crazy, dangerous, man, this dude was a multi-scientist. Why did they make one of the most brilliant black men ever in the world a dangerous man? You got to think about that. Think about that. Because if you begin to try to be like him, you become dangerous. When you begin to realize, man, I can master science, art, culture, religion, I can look at the rocks, the geology, the plants, the nature, all of that is connected to me. Because see, the biggest thing they try to do is disconnect you from math when you are math. I want to leave and talk about this and talk about this in class. How many of y'all know what DNA means? DNA?
Deoxyribonucleic acid.
Deoxyribonucleic acid. Ribonucleic acid. That's what it stands for. Deoxyribonucleic acid. What do you know about it? And you are correct. I'm so proud that you know that. You know, you like the first one of the first groups I've been in where kids actually know that.
Really?
Huh?
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, actually know it. Tell me what you know about DNA.
We have it. Everyone's DNA is different. I know something about some genes and X and Y chromosomes and stuff like that.
Right. You're right. That's good. That is very good. You're on the beginning of becoming a master. You're on the beginning. But let me say this. DNA ties you back to who you are for trillions, hundreds of thousands of years. Y'all hear me? It's written in your DNA. Have you ever seen, and let me give you this is the analogy that made me really understand DNA. I got a brother who has a son. My brother went on the run. Why? He went on the run for, he got himself in some trouble with his son while his girlfriend was pregnant. She raised his son. Then he went to prison. He's been in prison his son's whole life. She raised his son by herself, never really met his father. Probably a couple of times visited him in prison. But his son acts, talks, walks just like him. Why? DNA. I said, man, you would think he watched him and seen these characteristics and start growing up and acting like this, but that's the power. Well, think about it. This is what I want you to understand. if your ancient forefathers were multi-genius, guess what? Where is it at in you? It's in your DNA. It's written in your DNA. It's a code. DNA is a code. She was talking about X and Y. Do you know it's written in your DNA? Do you know once you begin to learn certain things? Because what happens, the more you know, the more you unlock within you. Do you know you'll begin to find different power that you have mentally, spiritually, and physically that you didn't even know you had? Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, trust me. Knowledge is power. And I'm sharing that with all of you. Some of you got some very powerful things in your DNA. That's why you're in this room right now. I didn't pick who was going to be here, but something brought you here today. But knowledge is power, but it's written in your DNA. And some of you, this will unlock things in you. Because the more you know, and some of you, it's in your mind right now, but it's like a seed. Later on, it'll grow and blossom. But let me tell you this. Inside your DNA is a powerful being waiting to come out. Do you know out of the sperm cells, every person here, that's why I don't never want nobody to think you ain't nothing. And we got to quit being so weak. Because one thing about it, I don't know where that weakness came from in us. It was people who did things through awesome, horrible conditions. Get with them. Do you know every one of you in here, I want to tell you something. When you were being conceived, which means when your father let the semen out, do you know how many other sperm was trying to get to take your place? Billions. Do you know it was a fight between you and the billions of sperm? That means other your siblings, billions of them came out. Guess why you made it? Because you were the strongest.
What if it was twins?
Well, y'all both were the strongest. Y'all both were the strongest. That means y'all outran all the rest of them. You were the strongest. And if y'all was twins, y'all was fighting against, y'all both fought y'all way up in there together. That's why twins are really close. So that means all of you by nature are strong people. You hear me? All of you by nature are great people, are strong people, man. Never settle for less. You feel me? Who understand what I'm saying? Raise your hand. You understand what I'm saying? Got it? Y'all got to get this, man. Because the thing of it is, it's our mediocre. What does mediocre mean? Mediocre means it's small time stuff that's killing us. We being small time people, man. It's time out for us being small time people. I don't like small time stuff. I like big time stuff. That's what's wrong. And let me make this clear. They put too many small time examples. I heard somebody say Barack Obama, right? Mm-hmm. Barack Obama's all right. I mean, he's the first black president. But Barack Obama is small time. Medes ruled the whole region of the earth. Imhotep is big time. You know what I mean? Barack Obama ain't nothing but a black manager of a white business. And I'm sorry, I said it. That's all he is. He's a black manager of a white business, which is run by corporate people. They run the government. Big business runs the government. So he's a black manager of a white business. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Hope don't nobody's parent get mad when y'all go home and tell them. But it's the truth. You know what I mean? Because that's why he say, y'all, he try to do stuff. Y'all never listen to what he say. They won't let me do it. I tried. Who is they? That's another conversation. But my point being, we don't rule. But some of you in here, y'all a new generation, man. Y'all gonna get a chance to take things if you become yourself to a level that we never got to see. But it takes you reaching within and being strong and saying, that's what I choose. That's what I choose. How many of y'all in here listen to me today think I went to college? Raise your hand. I didn't go to college. You know what I decided? Brothers in prison taught me the same thing I taught y'all. And they told me, brother, I didn't know nothing. I was dumb, got to prison, didn't even have a high school diploma, could barely read. And they said, brother, you are a lot more than what you think. And the more I begin to read, the more it began to open up knowledge. And now when I talk, doctors and scientists sit down and listen to me, and it humbles me. And that's because when you decide to do something with your life, Malcolm X would have been a high-risk individual. Dude from the hood, grew up running around, gambling, hanging out and all that. But I'm going to tell you what changed Malcolm. He read the whole prison library. He took the dictionary. You know Malcolm X wrote the whole dictionary by hand from A to Z so he could learn words. You talking about being a cold lyricist. If you knew the whole dictionary from A to Z, but see, that takes discipline.
That takes time and patience.
That's all. But you can do it, though. That don't mean it can't be done.
It can be
That
done.
don't, you know one thing I learned being in prison for 10 years, time and patience is something you will learn. When you start building something in prison is this little, then after 10 years, about the size of this room, you learn time and patience.
Yeah,
Because you got to wait. So don't think, let me tell you something. Everything in this world starts off as an idea in someone's mind. This building right here we in.
Yeah.
It started off inside somebody's brain as an idea. And he drew the idea, he began to draw the structures, right? But it started off here. My question is, what's the idea in your mind? And how big is it?
Real big.
How big is it? Now when I mean big, I always hear small ideas that people claim is big. I want to own my own record company. Boo, boo, boo. I want to boo, 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 boo. I always go on Facebook and look at my videos. I say, I want to change the world. I tell people that all the time. What is your plans? I want to change the world. Not the people in this room, I want to change the world. I want you to think like that. I want the people in China. I want to change the whole way the world is thinking. Even if you're a rapper. Don't just be, man, I want to rock 5 million albums.